6, 8. A week had passed since I started the job. I was clumsy with my interactions with customers at first, but after a week I'd gotten decent at it. What the heck had I been doing with all my time after class until now? It was strange thinking about it now. Ushio, do you work every day now? No, just on weekdays. Okay then. He had an expectant look in his eyes as his voice trailed off. I promptly ignored it and looked over at my girlfriend. Should we go? What should we do for lunch? Eat at the cafeteria? Yu-chan looked toward the window. Okay, where's a good place? Yu-chan looked out the window again. Okay, how about we buy stuff at the convenience store? We bought some boxed lunches at the store, then headed to Clock Tower Park. It wasn't quite a date, but it felt so nice to get out in the good weather. It was crowded with families out for the day, but we found an open bench. Oops. Yeah. I noted right away. Nothing special happened that day, but I wouldn't forget it. Huh? Did something happen after all? I couldn't recall. Yu-chan puckered her lips like she was imitating an octopus. What's with that face? Yu-chan ran her index finger along the edge of her lips and then held up half of her sandwich. I finally remembered what she meant. You got your lipstick on the sandwich. And I ate it without a second thought. I then remembered I kind of likened it to a kiss in some weird way. I was going to give them the benefit of I was like, oh, that's what she was embarrassed about. It wasn't because she thought it was an indirect kiss. But now so it still is. In some weird way. And want to split our lunches again today? We had already kissed a lot, so I knew there was nothing to be shy about. But there was still that element of bashfulness, and both of us blushed a little. I unwrapped the packaging. Do what? This is something you should have expected, Yuta, okay? I opened my mouth clumsily, and she stuck a corner of the sandwich in. Om nom. It was the first time I had ever eaten without using my hands, so it was kind of weird. Okay, it's your turn now. Yu-chan opened her mouth and lifted her chin. It looked like she was waiting for a kiss, and that some strange feeling burgeoned inside. Wait. And that same strange feeling burgeoned inside. Yeah. I realized why she was so shy about all this. It wasn't because this was an indirect kiss, but because this was something only close lovers would ever do. It was slightly cringy, but we were sharing such a fulfilling experience. I was just thinking that. She opened her mouth and I saw her tongue's pink tip. Like the rest of her tongue isn't pink. Sure, against her pearly white teeth. Something about it was so enticing. It was so nice to see her eating. I couldn't stop myself.
あれ？なんか私ばっかり食べてる？さあさあ、ゆうくんも。
We shared our lunches bite for bite after that. It was mild weather, just the right temperature to spend a day in the park. I took a chance and put my arm around her. We just sat on the bench, lazily enjoying the day.
ゆうくん？
ん？
これ、もしかして私の勘違いだったら、とっても恥ずかしいんだけど。
Huh? I turned to look at her after reading the mood. Her ears were maroon red.
耳貸して。
I turned my head and leaned in close to her.
バイトの時なんだけど。
Her hot breath wafted over my ear, and again a strange sensation washed over me. Or, to be more honest, I felt my loins buzzing. Okay, we get it, you're horny.
ゆうくん、私の背中じゃなくて。
Does she know?
こことかを見てない？
As she whispered, she pointed at both her bust and her thighs. Oh, of course she didn't notice on the first day, but after a week, it would be impossible for her not to. Oh, maybe I was just ogling too much for my own good. She knew. No, yeah, you're right.
そうなんだ。やっぱり。
She actually looked relieved when she wasn't mistaken in thinking that. She wasn't mistaken in thinking that. Sorry for, staring at you sexually.
別に嫌ではないんだけど。
Really? I felt like I had been saved, and then I asked to be sure. Yu-chan nodded with her reddening face.
やっぱり人によるんだろうな。
No shit. Yeah. She was likely feeling... she had likely felt eyes on her at the shop in the past. I didn't bother asking about that.
それで、今...
She leaned in close to me now. Again.
嫌らしいとか、自分で言ってたけど。
I mean, he didn't specify the way... She didn't specify what kind of way you were looking at her, so... you didn't have to clarify that you were looking at her sexually.
そういう視線なんだ。
I said nothing, but slowly nodded. I was sure, but my ears were bright red by this point.
そう。そっか。
She moved away from me and murmured happily.
なんかね。
She giggled with shy relief.
私がゆうくんにとってそういう存在だって今まであんまり考えたこともなくてだから
She had said something similar when we had our first kiss. I guess the act itself that I would actually do it. I'd never thought about it. But it's true. I knew this was important, so I turned to her and said it with as much honesty as I could muster. Because you're the girl I like. Her shoulders shook up and down as she chuckled silently. What? I couldn't keep a straight face either, and felt my face relax.
今言ったのは以前の話で、今はわかるの。ゆうくんの視線感じて、それがなんだか赤外線みたいに思えて。
Probably X-ray would have been better, but sure. Infrared. I tried to imagine what she could have meant and drew a blank, but I didn't say anything.
それで私も、ゆうくんが、って思えて。
Yu-chan was speaking in fragments, but I knew what she meant from the context. She was too shy to just blurt out that she knew I wanted to have sex with her.
私ったら、お天道様も高いうちから一体何言ってるんだろう。
Seriously. I laughed out loud, and the tension that was creeping over us seemed to ease up. But that nervous tension wasn't entirely bad. Was this what I meant to... What? Was this what it meant to become an adult? I still had a ways to go, though.
ゆうくん、手のひらに汗かいてる。
Oh, sorry.
ううん。
I started to take my hand off her shoulder, but she reached up and stopped me. Her hand was also moist and warm.
もうちょっと、このままで。
Yeah. All I could do was squeak out a response. I turned and faced forward again. I had been pressed into her so long, and we were both burning up. We exchanged few words as time passed by, but our silence didn't disturb my tranquil state of mind. A renewed assurance welled up in me that this girl who I had grown up with was the love of my life. We had taken yet another step forward in our relationship, but I didn't want to rush into it quite yet. Of course, I knew I wanted sex soon. I mean, I really did. But it just doesn't seem like she has knowledge or even interest in sex. What, you sure? Because she did admit that she was looking at you sexually as well. So, like, I was musing as I lounged around my room, spacing out. But that night, I would have that assumption turned on its head. Phew. I tossed my pencil away. I had been working about every other day, so my homework was piling up. Well, the job wasn't to blame. It was just standard fare for me. I'm sleepy. I'd like to be chatting with Yu-chan right about now, but it was already so late, so I took a peek into her room first. I could see basically her entire room reflected in her wall mirror. I figured I'd look at that, and then decide if I would invite her to chat. That's all I was planning. Seriously, that was all at first. Okay. Yuna's POV. It's not that. It's not. It's really. It's 6:19.
おはよ
Like nothing ever happened. Morning.
う。どうかした？
No, nothing. Nothing happened, alright? The next morning, she had given such a dirty display Or rather, I was peeping like a creep, yet she had her usual radiant smile. I have no idea how I should act this morning. I figured I would just make up some excuse to go to school alone, but it wasn't meant to be. Yu-chan was acting the same as always, chatting freely with the others. The only one preoccupied by something was me. I couldn't help it. Not after seeing something like that. Don't you dare. I was kicking myself for watching the whole time, but 10 men couldn't have peeled my eyes away. I knew it was bad, and I was sorry, but I would be but it would be a lie to say I didn't enjoy it. A massive lie. Never before had I experienced such unbridled excitement. I can't let myself go down the wrong path. Well, I probably didn't have to worry. Peeping in on girls wasn't what turned me on, honest to God. It was just that the girl happened to be Yu-chan. Seeing her perform such a dirty act, with that look of sexual ecstasy, it was my first time seeing my childhood friend as a woman. So I knew it was pointless to regret looking so intently. That wasn't an excuse or anything, though. But Yu-chan, yeah, she's a real woman. I could tell at a glance, rocking such a bombastic body, she wasn't a kid, that was for sure. Yet the sense of youth that I still regarded her with, that was definitely because I had known her since we were kids. My past memories overlapped with the present ones. What memories? Maybe those were clouding my image of her present self. If I just cast off those presumptions, she was a mature woman. You motherfucker. I told you not to do that. I told you not to fucking flashback. I mean, I didn't say not to flashback, but I implied it. Her tits were huge too. Oh dang, here I was letting my mind wander. I couldn't walk straight thinking like this. Because you got a fucking third leg distracting you.
今日のゆうくん、なんか随分静かなんだね。
Oh, yeah, I'm tired.
そっか、私もなんだ。ゆうべは夜更かししちゃったから。
Yeah. Yeah, what were you doing up so late? Our eyes met, and she bashfully covered her mouth with her hand. What were you doing up all night? What were you doing up all night?
それは秘密。
Oops. Oh, whatever, you got it. Mm-hmm. But just, wow. Yu-chan had such amazing proportions. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? There was a big risk in daydreaming about last night's events, but it was impossible to stop myself. Her tits were big and perky, and her waist was nice and slim. I didn't see the rest of her, but her ass was round and plump. Probably, no, definitely. When our uniforms changed, she was saying she was insecure about her body. She's way too modest. But I was the only one who had seen her true assets. I was fixated on that right now. Yeah, but like, the mirror was behind her, so you wouldn't have been able to see all this shit. They weren't just big, but perfectly shaped and beautiful. Her nipples were wonderful, vibrant pink. Probably, no, definitely. Oh man, that precious forbidden knowledge I got from peeping. I can't forget about it. Stop fucking showing it. I know this is a fucking arrogate, but I have no reason to... I don't know. I can't make this an all ages version, right? It's never been a thing. Although I Although I knew should try my damnedest to forget. I knew I should... whatever. Forgetting was a sheer impossibility, even trying to scrub it from my mind strengthened the memory. But... you fucking... yeah, no. Probably, no, definitely. I can't possibly forget at this point. It may have been possible, only by overwhelming it with a new memory of her, though I could override the memory with one that wasn't associated with my guilt. Yeah, that was the way. I didn't need to adorn it with any colorful euphemisms, though. I just wanted to do her, plain and simple. Oh god, it just so crazy hot. I was so aroused, I was even sounding different to myself. Ah, shit. Now I'd like to have Ushio read the next page. Yes, sir. My voice cracked, and I got a few weird looks. I knew it. I knew it was dangerous to let my mind wander. I was making a scene now, and the spotlight was on me. None but fallen shadows littered the area. The dense forest had no clear path and ahead. Can you please stand? I was already standing, in a sense. Like we usually do. Okay. I halfway expected the teacher to say that, so I had my hand in my pocket, ready to compress to the side as necessary. And ahead the clashing cries of warriors could be heard. I managed to get through the passage. I'd broken out into a cold sweat the whole time. I really can't keep doing this. So stop. It's better for me than it is for you if you stop fucking thinking about Yuna's impossible tits. Impossible in a way because you wouldn't have been able to see her tits because her back was facing you. Because the mirror was literally behind her in the CG. The mirror was in the CG. If it wasn't in the CG, yeah. My already poor performance in school would deteriorate. I did my best to snap out of it, and somehow finished class. We walked home side by side as usual, but I was looking at her in a different light. It was like I was tasting her with my eyes. I couldn't believe I was phrasing it like that. Her ears were blushing. She knew. No shit, she knew.
ゆうくん、今日はなんか、ずいぶん熱心に私のこと見るんだね。
Sorry. I knew there was no point in denying it. I bowed my head. She shook her head with a smile.
ゆうくんが相手なら、なんていうか、嬉しいし、もっと私を見て、なんて、そんな気になっちゃう。
She said it jokingly and puffed out her chest in a confident pose. Now that I knew what she hid under that blouse, I was drooling like a dog.
ゆうくんの目、ちょっとエッチ。
Sorry. She smiled humbly with rosy cheeks.
時計塔の公園で、そんな話したものね。ゆうくんが、私のことって。
Just like she did back then, she spoke in vague fragments. Yeah. I wanted to just declare it right then and there. But we were both serious about our job, and I couldn't take up too much time with that now. Let's do it on Saturday after class. After class, we'll have a lot of time.
男子にしろ女子にしろ、好きな人のことを見ちゃうのは当然のことだと思うし、でももっとスタイルが良ければよかったの。
Yu-chan, you have a great body. She murmured it mostly to herself, but I had to try to set her straight.
本当？
Try and set her straight. She asked barely above a whisper. Oh, yeah, really?
自分ではよくわからないけど、ゆうくんがそう言ってくれるなら嬉しい。
That's okay. You're the only one who needs to know. I was getting shy and looked toward the ground. It's me, that's all. I'm the only one who needs to know about your amazing body. I thought she might have chuckled at that, but she didn't. She almost slammed into me as she wrapped herself around my arm.
そうだね。
She seemed so thrilled to hear it, so I was glad I overcame my embarrassment.
だって私が見てほしいと思うのはゆうくんだけだもの。
Yeah,
ゆうくんの目、私好き。
we looked at each other as we walked. It was a little dangerous not watching the road.
ゆうくんってほんとあったかストーブみたいな人だな。
What the heck kind of comparison is that? I had no idea what she meant, but she just laughed and said no more. 6:22. It was Saturday at last, and class just ended. I need to be honest with her today. How I felt. How did normal couples move to the next stage anyway? Other people were irrelevant, but I was just genuinely concerned, genuinely curious. Did they just go with the flow? We had basically gone with the flow until now, so I might have been able to just leave it at that. But considering our history together as childhood friends, maybe we wouldn't naturally cross that line. So, I need to make it clear. I clenched my proverbial fist, and nodded strongly to myself.
ゆうくん、さっきからずっと黙ってる。どうかした？
I'll just cut to the chase.
折り入ってっていう言葉、リアルで耳にしたのは初めてかも。
Me neither.
なんか改まってるね。
Kinda. You see, I kept a straight face and looked deep into her eyes. It's something important.
なんだろうな。プロポーズかにゃ？
I mean, he didn't really need to with the other girls, so like, isn't that done technically?
それもそうだったね。
Yeah, that's what I thought.
小さい頃の約束が本当のプロポーズになるなんて、私って幸せな女の子かもしれないな。
That should be my line. Yu-chan looked at me affectionately. She took my hand tightly.
お話ってお昼が済んでからでもいい？
Yeah.
今日は帰ってからお弁当を作ろうと思うんだ。
A picnic lunch? You mean we're going somewhere?
どこでもいいんだけど、ただせっかく晴れたし 気持ちのいい陽気だし。
Yeah, we just went to the park recently. So how about we go to the beach? That sounds fun.
腕によりをかけますよ。
Swimming season hadn't started, so the beach was empty. But the shining sea was so beautiful. The shining sea was so beautiful, and even just the sight made for a proper beach experience. The food she made was delicious, and it felt like a picnic. Phew, that was so good. Thank you.
お粗末様でした。
Yuchan, I think your cooking skills are improving at a phenomenal rate. I murmured in appreciation to myself. It wasn't just lip service either. Her food was incredible.
実験体がいると上達していくんだよ。
So I'm still a subject.
まあ、ご飯もケーキもそうだよね。食べてくれる人がいるから、なるべく美味しく作ろうって気になる。
But I can understand cake. But regular food? You make it every day for your dad, right? It sounded so simple when she said she did, but it was actually quite the feat to cook every night. The mothers of the world had it tough, and Yuchan was still a student too.
お父さんが相手じゃ張り合いないもん。
Gotcha.
食べてくれる人というか、食べさせたいと思う人、そういう人がいないとね。
Yeah.
私、ゆうくんのいいお嫁さんになれるかな。
We had already communicated our feelings on the matter, but it still excited me when she said stuff like that. I know you can.
それで、お話っていうのは？
Oh, yeah. I had recited it over and over in my head, but I still found it hard to speak through the heavy nervousness. My face burned, and it felt like it was blowing up like a balloon. There's an old saying. Dang, I said something completely random, but there was no stopping it. There was no stopping this train. I had to follow through. They say that saying the moon looks beautiful is a way of expressing I love you.
ほう。
The ocean looks beautiful.
顔赤いよ。
She pinched my cheek. Yu-chan. I grabbed both of her shoulders suddenly. She was understandably surprised. I want to make you mine. That's a fucking leap from the ocean looks beautiful, isn't it? She was far more direct than the moon phrase, but it was still an oblique way to put it. Yeah. So I continued. I want you.
私も。
She nodded shakily. The answer I longed for from the bottom of my heart, it sent my pulse skyrocketing. How about tonight?
ただ、週末はご両親いるんじゃなかった？
Oh, right. I'd completely forgotten about them. Yeah, so do most of the people playing through this game. Half of the people. So, how about a hotel? But we might not be able to relax in a place like that.
それとあと、 準備が必要だし。
Yeah, of course. We both need some emotional prep. Yeah.
心のというか、勝負下着とか。
Don't worry, it's fine. Yusha's already seen them before. I mean... Oh...
もうゆうくんったら恥ずかしいこと言わせないで。
You just said it on your own. Seeing her beat red was so adorable. Although, I probably look similarly right now.
ね、恥ずかしいついでに言っちゃうけど。
Wait. Although I probably looked similarly, yeah, okay. Yeah?
私、ゆうくんがそんな風に言ってくれるの
Don't worry,
待ってたんだ。
he knows. Just, you know, the way he knows, let's just not discuss why he knows that you know. Why, never mind. Sorry for making you wait again.
また
When I told you I liked you, too.
でも私にもなんとなく想像がつくんだ。だってさっきのゆうくんの顔、本当に真っ赤っかだったもの。
I scratched my head in embarrassment.
だから男の子にとってというかゆうくんにとってさっきみたいなことを口にするのはきっと勇気のいることだったんだろうなって。
Yeah, it does.
でも不思議な話だよね。これが本能っていうものなのかな。
Instinctual.
そんな経験もないのに想像するとなんか
Yu-chan's eyes wandered around in shyness.
やっぱり私もゆうくんを求めているっていうことなんだろうね。それが自分でも分かって、だから
We both desired one another's touch. There was no need for reservations now. Let's do it on Monday. On weekdays, my parents get back late. Yu-chan nodded.
じゃあ私明日はちょっと買い物に行くからデートはできないからね。
Sure, got it. Was she serious about her panties? I was kind of looking forward to that. Probably very serious about it. 6:24. I was completely scatterbrained. My head was in the clouds all day at school. I retained nothing from class. I somehow managed to get through my shift at the Honeydew, and that was nothing short of a miracle. Talking to her dad seemed awkward, so I decided to get a bite elsewhere. Betrayal, that's what that is. And then the time had come. Oh, she's here. Come on, come in.
お邪魔しまーす。
Yu-chan looked quite nervous. I wasn't in a position to blame her, though. My parents aren't here.
意味もなく観察しちった。緊張のあまり。
Me too. Let's go upstairs. I took her by the hand and started and started up the stairs.
お邪魔しまーす。って汗ばんでいたよね。ごめん。
No, no problem. She surveyed my room, as if trying to dispel her tension. It was an important day for both of us, so to commemorate it, I cleaned my room. I even changed my sheets and pillow cover. Why would you do that? It's gonna get messy anyway, so why would you... You're gonna have to change them again. What the fuck? I thought it would add to the mood. I mean, clean sheets do kind of add to it, can kind of set the mood, you know?
ゆうくん、シャワー借りてもいいかな?
But like, with all the shit that's gonna be on the bed after what you're gonna do, because, you know, it's messy, you're gonna have to replace them again. Oh, go ahead.
いつもと違う時間にお風呂に入ったら、お父さんに変に思われるかもしれないって余計なことまで考えちゃって。
Yu-chan left the room with a bag in her hand. Maybe this was why she brought it. There's a bunch of towels in the bathroom. There's a bunch of towels in the bathroom. 30 minutes passed. Come in.
お待たせ。ごめんね。だいぶかかっちゃった。
Once she entered my room, a soapy fragrance seemed to follow. Was that ours? What? I had never smelled it before. Oh, he meant the soap. Yu-chan stood dead center in my room, unsure of what to do next. Come over here. She sat next to me, a bit more relieved. The bed sank down with the extra weight. She smelled very good.
ずっとシャワーを浴びていたわけでもないんだけど。
Huh?
その後、ちょっとメイクのほ直ししていたから。
The makeup will also get messy, dirty. Oh. She tilted her head and looked at me with a subtle smile. Maybe it was the makeup, or perhaps her flushed cheeks, but she looked more beautiful than ever. Oh, damn. It's the same... how would you call it? It's the same CG, I guess. If we're counting the CG as only what the characters are doing in the picture, but the background is different. As our lips met, I could feel the tension drifting away from her body, allowing her to loosen up. Yu-chan, let's use our tongues.
舌で?
Like a French kiss. The one thing the French didn't ruin. Our lips met again. They had been merely making contact until now, but we had never kissed deeply. And finally, before our big night together, I stuck my tongue out subtly, and her shoulders quivered in surprise. I tickled her glossy lips with my tongue, and her quivering increased until her lips parted. I extended my tongue further inside her mouth, then made contact with something soft and moist. And my body was also shaking after experiencing this newfound sensation. So this is French kissing. We were driving safely, so to say, at first, but once we got a taste of this, we went full throttle. The pleasure was also ravaging, and I thrusted my tongue in and out of her warm mouth. We weren't used to it, or in rhythm, but neither of us cared. I became bolder and let our tongues entwine, occasionally sucking on her lips. I don't know. Listen, all I'm gonna say is I don't know how much I can. It's because of the fucking sound effects, right? If it wasn't for the sound effects, this would be fine. But like, you know, our movements were clumsy, being our first time, but the pleasure was strong nonetheless. Nevertheless, in fact, I felt like we could have persisted forever. Like the fucking, yeah. At our first interlude, our mouths and chins were soaked in saliva. Yeah. Fucking... I pulled my face away to catch my breath. Yu-chan's lips were glistening with moisture. You're wet. Huh? Well, I mean, look. I took a tissue from my desk and wiped her mouth gently. Yeah, I thought he meant that place too. Huh? Different place? A different place? Yu-chan was blushing red from her neck upward and looked down. I had no idea how to respond as I gulped back the drool building in my mouth. She was also adorable. She was so adorable and cute. I wanted to just throw myself over her. It wasn't only physical pleasure that was making my body burn with desire. I guess. Yeah. Yeah, me too. I'm really wet now. Don't say it like that. With such a hard erection, it starts to get like this, like that after a while. Don't say you're wet. Say you're hard. What do you mean? Yeah. I felt a rush hearing her voice that word. Yeah, she definitely voiced that word and there wasn't a censor or anything. You don't remind him. What? No way. When? Yeah, I'm reminded of that scene every time because there's a fucking choice that you have of there are 4 choices of am I a mama's boy? And it doesn't matter which choice it is, it always leads to the same fucking outcome. There isn't any fluff dialogue either. Oh.
大きくなっていたみたいだから、それで、みたいな。
You saw it before that?
あったよ。
She nodded, holding back a grin.
家族ぐるみで海に行った時、ゆうくんのパンツが脱げちゃって。
Oh, that'd be even... Nah, bro, that's even more embarrassing. That's even more embarrassing than the last time. Than the one in the common round. I vaguely remembered that happening. Bro, Bro, that's a memory he wants to forget about. You have a good memory.
見ちゃったからね。だから私の中では、あの時の印象が強かったんだけど、でも、今のゆうくん、もうだいぶ違っているみたいだね。
Well, probably. If we're gonna play that game, you've changed a lot too.
私も？
Your tits are bigger. I was joking, but like, I guess it makes sense. Your boobs are way bigger. Yeah, okay. I fumbled around with her breasts with my hand as we kissed, and her body shook yet again. Her moans were a bit forced, yet she stuck her tongue deeper into my mouth. It was my first time purposefully touching boobs, and the arousal was enough to make my head explode. Yeah, but like you could tone it down on the sound effects, you know. Maybe a little, but once the initial excitement vanished, I craved more. I want to get under her shirt. That desire was welling up inside me, and I moved my head back. Yu-chan. I put my hand on the belt around her hips.
待って。恥ずかしくて。
Start with the shirt or whatever. Okay.
後ろ、向いていてくれないかな。
Sure. I turned around and heard the ruffling of her clothes. Oh boy. This is after everything. Once the screen is no longer black, it's probably gonna fucking CG, you know. If not that, probably naked sprite. Yeah. I focused intently on the sound. It was just some fabric rubbing together, but it was a thrilling signal of what awaited.
いいよ。
Oh, whoa! I told you it was either gonna be CG or naked sprite. Was this the law of gravity at work? Her massive breasts were ferociously pulling my eyes in. But like, are they really? Because like, they're not there. They're under the text box. Well, I don't know why they aren't showing them.
勝負下着はやっぱりなしね。結局いいの売ってなかったから。
Oh, yeah. I don't care about your underwear at this point.
ああ、その言い方ちょっと残念。
I disregarded her peeved tone and drank in the sight of her with my eyes. Yeah, if only I could see it too. Fuck. God damn it. As soon as I fucking say something. Wow. Such beautiful boobs. After having been witness to her prior display, my imagination was much more vivid. But seeing her right in front of me, with like that surpassed even my wildest dreams.
この後は、どうすればいいのかな。
Oh, look, they're not. I can't see them anymore. Yeah. Let's see. Maybe you could lie down on the bed. And hold your legs up.
足、こう